How good is finals footy? What a win by Collingwood last night against Adelaide in Adelaide. In today's episode of First Shoes, I'm going to run you through key moments and how they're able to structure up that win against Adelaide. Finals footy is all about not only the pressure, but it's chaos footy. You have to be clean off the ground, you have to set up. What Collingwood did last night showed the experience that they had. I think they had 16 finals experience in their team. And Adelaide had 16 players that hadn't played finals footy, but it showed. They were clean below their knees. They had poise. They used the ball extremely well, but their pressure was outstanding, whether it was from front or whether it was from behind. And it allowed them to set up the defence. Darcy Moore, what an outstanding game. They just set up structurally really, really well behind the ball. Then when they got the ball, whether it was a chaos below their knees, they were so clean. They just used the ball very efficiently. They felt like they had time and space, and they just dissected the Adelaide defence. I thought Mason Cox up forward was a great addition. Brought the ball to ground. Wasn't outmarked. It was a sensational win by Collingwood. So let's get in the clips now, and I'll dissect how they're able to get into another prelim. So Adelaide's going right of screen, and this is really evident. A lot of the clips I'll show you, the dump footy. So Collingwood put a lot of pressure on Adelaide, and they just would dump. It was just dump footy from Adelaide. They got the ball and rushed it. And here's Neil Bullen. Now, I know it's under the pump, start of the first quarter. This is the first entry inside their forward 50. But he just got it and blazed. And it was because of the pressure. The pressure that Collingwood was putting on the ball carrier, not only from the front, but also behind. Look in this actual snapshot here. You have a Collingwood player in front. So he feels the pressure coming at him. But then you have another two from behind. So in the spur of the moment, final footy, it's chaos footy. They just panicked. Adelaide just panicked. And this then brought in the defenders for Collingwood. I mean, I think they had a record amount of inside D50 intercept marks. It was just outstanding. And it was they were brought into the play, and they were able to get a lot of those intercept marks because of the pressure that was put on the ball. This is still early. Maynard takes the mark. It gets awarded a free kick, and they tried to go for these kicks. Collingwood, they showed their experience. They spread. The second and third efforts were great. They were able to break the lines. I'll show you clips of Goey. Ned Long was super in that third quarter. I think he ended up being involved in 3 goals. But what they forced Adelaide to do, by taking these risks in the corridor, and they try to own it, they were never outmarked, but when it hit the ground, they were always there. They had a lot of balance around the contest. But the pressure from behind forced these dump kicks. So there's Josh Dacos from behind, forcing the pressure, forcing them to dump kick. And then it just played in the hands. There's Billy Frampton behind the ball. So it was Frampton. I thought Quainer was magnificent last night. Thought a number of players. Darcy Moore obviously was outstanding. Maynard was fantastic. Their back six were unbreakable. They just set up really, really well. And then they added, with having Cox in the forward line doing the ruck contest, that allowed for Darcy Cameron as the ruck to stand behind the ball. And I'll show some plays where he was able to set up and be able to get those intercept marks. So ball comes inside forward 50 for Collingwood, and it was just a contest to be able to bring it to ground. So they bring it. There's Elliott just in the pack. Membry as well. They never got outmarked. They weren't outmarked last night, and that just brought the pressure, brought the heat. Look at the Goey coming off. That is super play, and it's hard. It's hard to train, but once you train it, it's. So what I've focused on this before, having balance. So you see Lipinski on the right-hand side here. Very important. So you've got Membry. He's in the contest. He's coming from behind. As I said before, they had pressure from behind, but they also had pressure from the front. Watch DeGoey, and now watch Lipinski. So they're going at the ball carrier, but if Lipinski follows DeGoey, He doesn't put pressure on this because of the balance. I'll show it again. See how De Goey's going, but Lipinski holds off. The other person, and showed his experience, Sidebottom did this extremely well. The ability to focus on the ball carrier, not the guy who's got the ball. If you're the second phase, and I've said this before, in this situation, Lipinski is the second phase. De Goey and Membry are the first phase. So they're the first ones in and under with the heat of the ball. But Lipinski is the one that forces this dump kick, even just going in the front pressure. And look who's sitting behind, Darcy Cameron. So that was just outstanding balance and discipline. Extraordinary and well-disciplined team effort from Collingwood last night. I just want to show you how clean they were. And this is still in the first quarter, very early. When it's finals footy, that a lot of games throughout the season, but when it's finals footy, you can really get a clear understanding. And if you watch the Geelong and Brisbane game tonight, look for the side that's really clean below their knees, particularly in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game. You get a bit of an understanding of who is on, who is really clean below their knees. Chaos footy, and they've spoken about this before, chaos footy is on the ground. Watch how clean this. So this long ball comes in. Once again, not outmarked. So very important that these two were down the line, creating, whether it was Membry, whether it was Darcy Cameron, whether it was Cox. They created a contest. They weren't outmarked. So this allowed for the little fellas of Collingwood, and look how clean they are. Bang, one touch. Look at the hand pass to McQuarrie. He was great last night, and I showed some clips where he broke the lines, which were really, really important. But that just at one touch from Josh Dacos. It's just super. Chaos footy, that's what finals is about, and they implemented it awesome last night, Collingwood. I just want to show you how clean they were. And this is still in the first quarter, very early. When it's finals footy, that a lot of games throughout the season, but when it's finals footy, you can really get a clear understanding. And if you watch the Geelong and Brisbane game tonight, look for the side that's really clean below their knees, particularly in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game. You get a bit of an understanding of who is on, who is really clean below their knees. Chaos footy, and they've spoken about this before, chaos footy is on the ground. Watch how clean this. So this long ball comes in. Once again, not outmarked. So very important that these two were down the line, creating, whether it was Membry, whether it was Darcy Cameron, whether it was Cox. They created a contest. They weren't outmarked. So this allowed for the little fellas of Collingwood, and look how clean they are. Bang, one touch. Look at the hand pass to McQuarrie. He was great last night, and I showed some clips where he broke the lines, which were really, really important. But that just at one touch from Josh Dacos. It's just super. Chaos footy, that's what finals is about, and they implemented it awesome last night, Collingwood. Lipinski kicks it down, and they love to do this. This is where they love to put it, along that wing there. So they love to put it in that position. But this is just the contest. Down the line, Membry again. Elliott and Membry. And then look at this. Just bumbles around a little bit, but clean. Gives the hands. Gives the right one. Takes the grass, Houston, and then hands again. And they just used the ball really well. Whereas on the flip side, as I showed you with Adelaide get it and just bomb it. And that just played in the hands, game plan of Collingwood. And that's how they're able to get so many intercept marks. Not once, well, there might have been a couple of times, but it was clearly evident that when Collingwood won the chaos ball, they gave the hands. They had full support from one another. When Adelaide won the ball in a chaos position, they just got it and bombed it. They didn't use their hands to dissect the defence. Once again, another example. Ball goes down the line, ball bounced, and takes off without it. Fogarty. But look at the clean hands. One. Jaws the player there, Pendlebury. Always been renowned for that, of course. And then hands again. And then the hands over. And what I love here from Chris is the ability to take it on. roll. And they did that so effectively in the third quarter, which I'll show you clips on how they did that. So stop play outside forward 50 for Collingwood. They're going left of screen. So it's still in the first quarter. This is what I'm saying about the chaos footy. They bobbles around, smash it forward, and watch McCreary here. So there's a fumble from Adelaide trying to dump kick it. But it comes back to McCreary, one touch. Takes the space. So this is what I'm saying about poise. When you grab a hold of the ball, how many times did you see Josh Dacos last night? Get the ball, have a look, Pendlebury the same. Feels like everything slows down. But what they're doing is that they're assessing where the pressure is. If they feel the pressure, they give the hands. If they don't, they take the grass. And this is what McCreary does here. Takes the grass, great hands to Silt, side bottom. Side bottom takes the contact and then finishes off with an awesome goal. So I want to show these clips. This is just the power, and I love that McCreary takes the game on. This is why he's so important to Collingwood and also to Goey. But just to take it on, he takes on. He knows his defender coming, but he takes a bounce. By him doing that, he takes two defenders. He nearly gets caught, but they took the game on. They drove with their legs. Now I want to show you the third quarter with Ned Long. So Ned Long set up 3 goals and score involvement. So he set up one with steel side bottom where he got a hand pass. I want to show you a couple of plays in that third quarter, which a lot of people talk about Goey and Darcy Moore and obviously the Dacos brothers. But this third quarter patch from Ned Long, and I hope the Collingwood faithful, Magpie Army, really highlight this because this was a game breaker. He turned the game in that third quarter. So when the ball bubbles around a little bit, he's positioned up on Dawson, and he's just so strong. Gets there, good balance, doesn't rush the ball, gets it. But what I love about this, he just takes the game on. Just drives with his legs and then kicks it inside forward 50. Here he is here. So he ends up getting the ball here and then hand pass goal to DeGoey. So this is the work rate. This is the spread, and this is the ability to spread inside, away for the contest, to put pressure on inside their forward 50, which lifted through the roof in that third quarter. So just watch those two players as the play unfolds. So it goes out, and there's pressure on the ball. Look at that. So once again, this is Houston. He's not going to the contest. He's balanced. He's waiting for the receiver, which is Laird. So I've highlighted that again, and once again, it illustrates the balance they have around that contest. And there it is. He puts the pressure on. So there's not getting 2-1. And it's really important and how you coach that and discipline to have the balance. So have trust in your teammate. He's the first layer. I'm the second layer. Hold out. Go at the receiver. And that's an absolutely perfect example of that. Ball bubbles around again. Look, Lipinski, get up. Look how desperate it is. He's just laid the tackle, but he's going again. Balance. I know I keep repeating myself, but this is why they were able to put the pressure on Adelaide. And Adelaide felt like there was just all this pressure going on. It's because they had no exits. Ball bubbles around. There's the pressure. Houston up again. Here comes Jamie Elliott, who was involved in the contest. There's Ned Long. Right, so he's involved. There's DeGoey. This is a super play. So they're involved, keeping their feet. Great tackle from Elliott. DeGoey's involved. Look at the balance they've got. There's the one player. That's the first layer. He's the second layer. Second layer. Second layer. So they're not gravitating towards the contest. They're staying balanced. Really important. Keep harping on it. But it's very evident. This is what they train. Hold. Now it's chaos footy. Ball's on the ground. Who's the cleanest? Ned Long. Lovely does here. Look at that. Hands up. Knows the pressure's coming. Get the hands up. If he doesn't put the hands up, he doesn't execute that hand pass to DeGoey. DeGoey on his non-preferred goal. Awesome bit of play there from Collingwood. Ned Long again. I want to highlight this because he was the difference in that third quarter. It's just phenomenal third quarter from Ned Long. Touch and feel on Saligo, and then this tackle. Bang. Throw. What I love about this, though, he gets back off the mark, really quick, and drives his legs. To get extra distance into the forward line. And then what did I say about Cox? Wasn't outmarked. The highest point, even my check as well, wasn't outmarked. Made the Adelaide defenders accountable. And look at that front and centre from side bottom. Bang, goal. So Ned Long, bravo. I just want to show you, I think it's Degoe right there, the way he was able to power through. So I showed you Ned Long and McQuarrie, how they just took the game on. They drove with their legs. If they didn't feel the pressure coming, they just took off. If they felt the pressure, lifted their arms, gave their hands off. Showed poise, showed experience. Ball comes in. Great spoil from Dacos here, just to get in the air. There's Degoe there, right there. So he's involved in the play. So the ball bombs around a little bit. There's that chaos footy. So you can see Adelaide, even Neil Bullen, premiership player, felt the pressure. And I showed those clips early. Ball bobbles around. Ball still one touch. Over to Pendlebury. Then the hands. And then watch this from Degoe. Bang. Just to break the lines. Go through the ball. There was even a clip. There was a loose ball get. I know it's between the ruckman and McQuarrie, but McQuarrie just had one focus on that ball, broke the lines, and they were able to get out of their D50. But they just showed their strength. Bang, out, and then great kick here from Darcy Cameron to Frampton. Great mark. But you can see just to break the lines, but still that one touch, that chaos footy, balls on the ground, one touch, give away, great hands. So there you have it. It was just well organised 4-quarter effort from Collingwood. Even when they were challenging that second quarter, they still finished off that quarter with a couple of goals straight, and then that led to that impressive third quarter that set up the win. Pressure from behind, pressure from the front, the structure behind the ball, that just allowed the Darcy Moores, the Quainers, the Maynards, Billy Frampton had a great night. They were just able to put that pressure. Then when it went inside forward 50, the Cox, the Mychecks, the Membrys, even Elliott jumping for the ball, brought it to ground. They weren't outmarked, so it didn't allow for the Adelaide backs to structure, get the intercept marks. But most importantly, and what finals footy is all about, chaos footy. That means the ball's on the ground a lot, you've got to be clean below your knees, and you're going to have poise. Not to dump kick. That's what Adelaide was doing. Collingwood knew that. They had the experience. They just executed it extremely well. What a win. And congrats to Collingwood on making the prelim for 2025.